What is the relationship between the accountant and the bookkeeper and you, the liquidator?
Yeah, well, hopefully good one. So it's generally short. It's liquidator. I mean, I don't know the company usually. Maybe the couple of discussions. Maybe I've been introduced by the accountant, but we get a lot of online leads. So we're going to the accountant. It might be the first they hear about it when we get in touch and say, "Hey, we're the liquidator." So I appreciate. No one wants to do unpaid work, and particularly if the accountant or bookkeeper has unpaid fees already. They're already a bit angry at the client, they feel a bit angry at the liquidator, but the Corporations Act says, look, you have to give the liquidator the company's books and records. Now that doesn't include work papers, so just usually zero access, a few years of financials, maybe some tax returns if they're around, but I get all them from the ATO anyway. So it can be that easy. It can be just a simple email with, this is what we did for the company, here's last year's financials and the year before, and zero access if the director hasn't already given it to us. And that's it. That's all you're really required to do. And look, people wonder whether they should go and do all this work to get the company's records up to date. But look, we usually don't spend the money on doing that because there's not a lot of benefit to all the other creditors. It really just lets the ATO know what their debt is. And really what I'm interested in when I look at financials is where value is, where there's assets or money that can be recovered. I'm not worried about it all lining up and balancing out because a lot of that value depletes, goodwill, etc., depletes when you're looking at liquidation. It's more about realizable value. So so look, just short and sweet, get it over with, and that's pretty much all you'll hear from the liquidator. But it's an opportunity to talk to someone if you don't already have a relationship to find out how a relationship can benefit you, because for a lot of firms I act as like an extension of their firm. They just call me up when they've got a client issue and they're not sure about, just like you would with any other particular specialist areas around a company's business, like legal or insurance or things like that. So happy to take those calls.
I'm really astonished that you said that the client calls you before they call the accountant, and the accountant can be potentially surprised that has happened.
Yeah. Well, I guess, look, a lot of the time, I think where your bill goes unpaid as the accountant, I think, as professionals, we always struggle to ask people for money. We don't like asking for money. We just expect people to sort of pay us. And so what happens is the relationship can deteriorate. Either the director can be unhappy at the accountant and they blame the accountant for their financial difficulty, and then the accountant says, well, you need to pay my bill. And look, where a client says, I can't pay your bill, what they're actually saying is, I'm prioritizing everyone else ahead of you. And so you need to know, hey, you're actually in some serious trouble. Paying everyone and continuing like normal isn't going to fix your business. Working harder is just going to get you down into a hole faster. You need to come and see me. We need to get your book sorted out, work out what your options are, call contact the liquidator, and let's have a chat and work out what your future looks like. So that's really the important thing. I mean, what happens often, I think, is that the accountant will say, oh, well, you're not paying me, I don't want to talk to you. But in my view, that's when the client most needs you, even though, the relationship can be a bit troubled. If you can save them, then you'll have a client for life, and you'll retain a client rather than losing one. So I know it's tricky. I think the key is just get paid up front. But I mean, we do a lot of our work comes from online, and so it is interesting. I think increasingly people come online. I guess they're a bit embarrassed. The relationship's not that good for whatever reason. But you're right. I think accountants and bookkeepers, we can all do better to build that relationship. So I mean, I expect everyone watching this probably has very good relationships, and their clients would turn to them. But there's a lot of accountants out there that don't have that sort of proactive relationship with their clients, and all they're doing is perhaps getting another ATO payment arrangement, but they're not addressing the bigger issues for the client.